Euphoria is a rare dive into the unsettling world of drug addiction. Despite the dark, distressing moments, the show's presentation is beautiful. Its unique, instantly recognizable visual style lends itself to counterbalance the magnitude of what the viewer is seeing. Let's deconstruct the cinematography in Euphoria. So how exactly do we define cinematography? A great person to answer this question would be an Oscar winner in this category. This is Oscar-winning cinematographer Roger Deakins. You may not have heard of him, but you're probably familiar with his work. Fargo, No Country for Old Men, Skyfall, Prisoners, Sicario, and Blade Runner 2049, just to name a few. He's a pretty talented guy, and this is how he answered that question.
No idea how you describe it. I mean, it's such a, but one discipline overlaps with another, on a film crew. It's like, where does cinematography start and end? Where does production design start and end? Where does editorial start and end? What's the influence of the image making on the final film versus, it's a load of people getting together trying to do the best they can. I don't know how you describe what the cinematographer's job is. Cinematography, well, it's simply telling stories with pictures, I suppose, but that's what people say, but I don't think it's quite that, really.
While I love his broad approach to this answer, I want to give it a little more depth. As he stated, the job of the cinematographer or director of photography is to bring the story to life visually. The word cinematography comes from the Greek roots kinema and graph, so in a way they are capturing the movement of the world in a unique way. They have a huge say in the artistic style of what is shot. Color is of course a main focus in their work. Is the color going to shine bright or be more muted? How will the shots be framed? In an omniscient view, or attached to the characters? The tone can be hyper-realistic or more imaginative. They frame things to make the world you're in seem real. I had a short segment in my last video about cinematography, but thought this show allowed me to explore the topic even further. Euphoria's visual flair showcases a range of techniques that deserve a deeper analysis. Let me actually take a second to give a plot summary. The show follows a few characters in high school, mostly focusing on Rue, Zendaya's character. She is a recovering drug addict that almost died from an overdose. The cast of characters all have their plights and issues that are interwoven into a drama with complex relationships and challenging solutions for characters to come to. This is Marcel Rev. He was the cinematographer for the first 4 of the 8 episodes of Euphoria. The final 4 were split between Drew Daniels and Adam Barra. These talented guys kept a consistent flow to scenes and creative approaches to reinventing the way scenes were shot. The style of the show is so well realized. You can basically take any clip from Euphoria out of context and you would know it's from this show just from the style popping off the screen. In an interview, Marcel discussed how the planning behind the camera, lenses, lighting style, colors, and camera movement all had to be figured out prior to going on set. From what the showrunners have explained, the visual language of the show was to convey emotional realism, which invokes a more bold style. To achieve this, the decision was made to always have a camera attached to a dolly or crane arm to give a smooth, steady look to every shot. Marcel established the style of the show in the opening 4 episodes, and Drew and Adam were able to continue the vision while he worked on other projects. The show's style has an interesting juxtaposition as the show tackles very dark themes that even warrant a warning before every episode. The color grading is dark and moody, but has bright ambient colors subtly in the background, shining softly on characters' skin and hair. The cinematography made the camera a character itself. Its omniscient presence would move in on a character or navigate around during a long take. The sweeping motions along with the clever framing allowed for us to explore the world of the show in a unique way. They use a treasure trove of methods to convey the dark story it portrays. The dolly shot, which can be used to draw closer to a character or setting. The boom shot for raising and lowering, this can peak above or below something. The truck shot that can be used to track a subject horizontally as they walk. Panning, which is the sweeping of a camera, whether fast to transition between things, like in montage sequences, or slowly to track a character in a frame. Tilting to give a perspective of looking up or down. And the roll, which can be used to give a sense of disorientation. These techniques can be combined at the same time to give an even more cinematic look to shots. Now let's get into the three main components that made the show's style so striking. Euphoria takes things up and down the spectrum of realism. There are shots of Euphoria that range from disturbingly realistic to psychedelic moments of, dare I say, euphoria. My favorite shot in the show is a long take that was incredible on first viewing. Brew has a psychedelic trip and walks down a hallway while it rotates around her. At first I thought this was clever CGI, but it turns out this was all done in frame. This is an almost identical technique used in Inception, except this isn't an action-packed fight scene about being layers deep inside someone's dream. Zendaya is in a large hallway set that has been rigged to rotate. The other people in the room are strapped down so that they don't fall when the room is turned upside down. It's a disorienting scene and further exemplifies the bewilderment and confusion going on in Rue's head. Another well-framed sequence is during the start of Jules and Nate's relationship. As Jules begins to fall into Nate's trap, we are treated to a montage of the both of them in symmetry. During this point in the show, Nate's motivations were unclear, and the way they mirrored each other made them seem like a romantic match, showcasing some of their similarities as well as Jules' excitement about this new potential relationship. The montage is able to end by having both of them merge together into one seamless image after being split down the middle. The show does a good job of framing characters in scenes of discomfort. There is a lot of bokeh in this show. It's the blurry background people love to have in their Instagram photos. Whatever is of importance is fully in focus and the background is blurred to keep our attention, isolating their faces or figure in an almost claustrophobic way at times to truly showcase and focus in on the emotion felt during a scene, adding another layer of depth the audience is drawn in by. Color grading gives any show a style that can be noticed during each frame. Color grading is defined as the process of altering and enhancing the color of a film photochemically or digitally. Here is a shot from a typical studio-lit sitcom. The color range is pretty flat and most things in frame are in focus. Things of course are drastically different when looking at Euphoria's scenes. The show is shot with color grading in mind. On set, things can look pretty flat, but editing is where the magic happens. There is a clever amount of ambient light used in most scenes, the main colors being pink or a few shades of violet. The lighting bounces softly off of characters' skin and hair or shines bright in the background. In the behind-the-scenes videos, there are a few sets designed with ambient colors coming from the set lights. Whether coming through windows or bounced off of surfaces, colorful hues are used on set to be in frame during filming. Even in the roller skating scene, they had an LED right off of the camera to give the colorful hue during the tracking shot. The entire show has an aura to it thanks to these stylistic choices. As I alluded to earlier, the camera movement in the show made it a character of its own. Omniscient shots along with more intimate ones allowed the show to have a full spectrum of perspectives. In each episode, the opening scene before the title card is a summary of a character's life. The cinematography shines during these montage sequences. We see innocent memories from their early childhood to crippling moments that molded them into the person they are now. The camera has a kinetic energy, sweeping in and out, left and right. We often get fast zoom shots or close-ups on a character followed by a fast pan to the left or right, continuing the flow into the next shot, moving quickly through the montage. The show has a few long takes that have some elaborate camera movement. The best kind are the ones you don't even realize are happening, and you can go back and watch and realize that everything was done in one take. The meticulous attention to detail is critical for these scenes to work. The one that is actually the inspiration behind this video is the long take from the carnival scene. It's about 2 minutes long and seamlessly flows between showing multiple characters. In an interview, showrunner Sam Levinson explained that this was accomplished with clever transitions and no CGI. Initially, it was going to be a montage sequence, but since the entire carnival was built to their needs, the shot was accomplished with hundreds of feet of dolly tracks. The shot begins with an RV that's cut in half that allowed for a crane arm to push through and keep up with Fez in the shot as he opens the window. There is a cut as he passes the booths, and the shot continues to track to Rue and then Maddie before there is another cut. This time the cut was for allowing the camera to go on a crane arm big enough to go up and elevate with the Ferris wheel. The shot continues and we eventually see all of the main characters along the way. These three techniques combined together created an amazing world for the viewer. The visual portrayal of this story is half the battle, and I'm not sure if the show would have reached its potential without it. Giving scenes the unique flair drew viewers into moments again and again. The themes in the show are dark, but the cinematography counterbalances it with its bright yet gloomy style. Cinematography will always be a core building block to creating a beautiful visual experience, and I hope shows continue to push the envelope with what can be done in the future. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I switched up the style a little bit in this video, implementing a little more visual flair, trying to make some higher quality content for you guys. I enjoyed this season and I'm excited to see how the story will progress next season. Let me know your thoughts on the show in the comments below. I appreciate the kind words I've been getting in my previous videos. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.